Hello, welcome to another podcast. I'm Dave Hendrick, and today we're going to take a bit of a look at central defensive options for January. Now, I know it's still a couple of months away, but our issues at centre-back are well documented. We've got Giovanni Leone out for the season. We've got Joe Gomez, who is injury-prone and doesn't seem to have the trust of the manager. We've got Ibou Konate, who is injury-prone, also in very mixed form and out of contract at the end of the season. And then obviously we have Virgil van Dijk, who remains the best centre-back in the world. If we look at the makeup of those centre-backs, Ibou plays on the right side, Virgil plays left side. In the one game they both played in, Giovanni Leone played right side and Joe Gomez played left side. Now, I don't think Joe Gomez has a long-term future at the club. I think it's coming towards the end of his tenure at the club. And he's been at the club for 10 years. It'll be 11 come next summer. That's a remarkable achievement in itself. But at some point, Joe is likely going to want to go and play regularly and start regularly. Because, let's be honest, his career has been so hampered by injuries. He's never fully been able to establish himself as an automatic starter for Liverpool for a prolonged period because of injuries. And then as he's gotten back from injuries, other players have hit form, and he's just had a really stop-start career. And I would imagine that at some point he'd just like to go somewhere and play. So I think long-term, we're going to need to bring in, actually not even long-term, short-term, we're going to look to bring in two centre-backs. One to replace Joe, and one who'd either be a fifth centre-back or potentially a replacement for Konate. So today we're going to look at replacements for Konate. I think if we consider Mark Gahey as a player who is unlikely to move in January, for the simple reason that if Crystal Palace are going really well in the Europa Conference League, I think it would mean more to the club to win the Europa Conference League than it would to get 15 to 20 million to sell Gahey and potentially torpedo their chances of winning that competition. So I don't think Mark Gahey's going to move in January. I also just don't think he is of the ceiling of centre-back that we will want long-term in that right-sided role. I think Leone, when he comes back, possibly gets transitioned into being Virgil's apprentice with a view that he will replace Virgil in 3 years, hopefully longer. So I think we do need to address right-side centre-back this coming January as well as next summer. But in January, I think it's becoming more and more of a priority. So when we think about who we want to bring in, there's going to be a couple of factors. Number one, I think FSG, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes will want someone who is going to be a long-term piece. So I think someone under the age of 23. But I also think they'll want somebody who's got experience behind them. I don't think they'll want to go for another 18-year-old like Leone who's got 20 games. I think they'll want at least a full season, maybe 2 full seasons of experience. But I do think it's someone with very high upside. I think they're going to look for someone that's quick, someone that's able to defend large spaces, someone that's comfortable defending in the channel. And I do think they're going to want someone who's aerially dominant, because the blueprint of a Liverpool centre-back, when Michael Edwards has been involved in the decision-making, has been aerially dominant centre-backs. 6'3", 6'4", they don't necessarily have to be that height, but ideally you're looking for a big, strong, dominant monster who's also got pace and who's good on the ball. And I think that's a factor we have to consider here. They have to be good on the ball. The biggest knock against Konate is that he hasn't been particularly good on the ball in his time at Liverpool. So one of the easiest ways to actually look at what centre-backs are out there is just to open transfer market look at a list of most valuable central defenders, filter it down to under 23 and start working through it. And when we start to look at it, I think all of the top 4 by value you can rule out immediately. Pau Cubarsí, incredible player. There's no chance Barca will sell. Josko Gvardiol, there's absolutely no chance that City would sell to us. Dean Huijsen has just gone to Real Madrid, and William Pacho is at PSG, and it's just very unlikely that they'd be willing to sell. It's also worth remembering that 3 of the 4 of them are left-footed. Cubarsí, Gvardiol, and Pacho. So they wouldn't be options for us anyway. When we come to replacing Virgil, if the decision is that's not going to be Leone, then maybe. But to replace Ibu, to challenge Ibu, it has to be a right footer. Murillo is 5th on this list, and he would be the first that I think it would be realistic to go and get, but again, he's left-footed, so I don't think he's going to be a target. Then you've got Lenny Yoro. There's no chance United would sell to us. Ilya Zabarny, I would have really liked in the summer. I said in the summer I would have preferred him to Huijsen. I would have been okay with selling Ibu to get Zabarny, but obviously he went to PSG, and there's just no way that we could get him at this point. Levi Colwill is next. Forgetting the fact he's got a torn ACL, he's also left-footed. Jared Branthwaite is at Everton. I don't think it's as unrealistic to think we could get him as some do. But again, he's a left-footer. Piero Hincapié just moved to Arsenal, and I think he's more of a left-back in the back four anyway, plus he's left-footed. So, at number 11 on this list, and again, this is just by value. This is not based on how good they actually are, but at number 11 is the first realistic one for us to consider. And it's Ousmane Diamande of Sporting. Now, I know Dave Davis has talked about him on a podcast on Friday, so dive into that if you will. And then we can take a look at a couple of things that are going to be important factors. Injuries. So prior to this season, he'd only ever missed 4 games through injury. This season, he's already missed 7, which is a little bit of a concern. It's a muscle injury. But I think a one-off muscle injury is quite standard. The key will be whether or not it reoccurs on him. So he's 21. He'll turn 22 in December. So age-wise, he's pretty much where you would want him to be. He's already got good experience at Sporting. He's already proven himself to be a winner. That Sporting team that he played in last season won a league title. He was important in winning that league title. Since moving to Sporting from Denmark, he has shown himself to be very adaptable, be it in a 3 or in a 4. Now, he has primarily played in a 3, but he's absolutely at home in a 4. He's got 8 caps for the Ivory Coast, and he's been first choice at Sporting for 2.5 years. And I don't think there's any questions about whether or not he's ready for the move. I think he is ready for such a move. He's good on the ball. That's a very important factor. He completes 93% of his passes. He completes 94% of his short passes and 96.3% of his medium distance passes. He's also at 77% for long passes, which is in the 98th percentile. So on the ball, you're not going to have any worries about him. He works for us on the ball. He's also a very good carrier. He's in the 96th percentile for carries, the 95th percentile for progressive carrying distances. And then it comes to the aerial. He wins about 66%. Now, we'd like that to be a bit higher, but that's pretty good. And it's also a factor of playing in the back 3. He's just going to be competing for less aerial. So the volume is only at about 3.8, which is a little bit low. But at 21, to be winning 66% is a pretty good marker when you consider a lot of other young centre-backs are in the high 50s. So I do think Ousmane Diamande is one that we should definitely have on our shortlist for January. The big knock on him is obviously AFCON. That's the one red flag, is that he will be going to AFCON with the Ivory Coast. Next up then is Giorgio Scalvini. And I'm moving away from the other list. I just wanted to kind of highlight the fact that when you start to look at a lot of the best young centre-backs, many of them are either unattainable for us because of the clubs they play at, or they're left-footed and thus not worth discussing too much. Now, with Scalvini, there is one major red flag that jumps out straight away, and that is injuries. From a physical point of view, he has pretty much everything we want. He's 6'4", he's quick, solid on the ball, he's got versatility to his game, he's got no issues defending in the channels. But this guy gets hurt so often. He, last season, missed 25 games. The season before, he missed 33 games. He's already missed 4 this season. He's currently out injured right now. So that's the big concern with Scalvini, is that his body just seems to let him down. And you would worry, would we be buying another Ibu, another Danny Agger type? Now, from a pass completion point of view, he's not nearly on the same level as Diamande. Part of that, though, is that he's very aggressive with his passing. So he does attempt ambitious passes.
All right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.